As a lover of not only reading but also buying books, I'm constantly looking for my next favorite read, the next best read, anything that's really going to excite me. But sometimes it's kind of hard to make a choice. Sometimes you're just overwhelmed by your options of what you could read, what looks good, what you might think is amazing versus what could bore you, and it gets really overwhelming to choose a book. So for today's video, I decided to put the decision in other people's hands and ask my best friends what books they think I should read. I essentially gave them free range. I said, pick a book that you think I would love that I've never read, and they came in with some options that honestly make so much sense for me. I'm just gonna show you a quick run through of the books that were chosen by my friends, and then we will get to reading them and see what I think, and hopefully they chose good books and they're not leading me astray. So to start off, my boyfriend Nick said to read The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is his favorite book. He's constantly begging me to read it, and I'm sick of hearing it, okay? I will go read it. I will tell you what I think. So this is our first choice. Next, my girl Lucy said Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. This is like her favorite book of 2025. She's absolutely obsessed with it. And this is a YA fantasy, which can be hit or miss for me, but we're gonna see. Next up, my friend Allie, the author of More Than Just Us. Go read it. It's available on Kindle Unlimited and Amazon and Barnes & Noble. She told me to read You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow. This is another YA book, a fiction one that is sure to break my heart, so I'm a little nervous, but looking forward to it. And then Hannah chose The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. We're kind of noticing a pattern here that my friends all chose YA books for me. They know what I like, I guess. I'm curious to see how these books end up being for me, if I end up enjoying them, if they end up being boring, but I would say my friends all know me pretty well, so I think I should enjoy all of them. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna get to reading. Let's talk about The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So I did finish the first book for this video. This was my boyfriend's pick. He's been begging me to read it, as I said before, and it's something I've wanted to read for so long. I watched the movie years ago, and I remember being so affected by it and thinking it was absolutely fantastic. But when I was going into this book, I didn't really remember much about the movie, like the twists or really the main point of anything. So I was kind of excited because it still felt like I was going into this book blind. And to say I loved this book is an understatement. I thought this book was absolutely incredible. I was so sucked in right from the start. This whole book is told through letters from this teenager, Charlie. He's going into his freshman year of high school, and you're kind of just hearing him and all of his inner thoughts as he writes to this person about everything that's going on in his life and in high school and with his family and himself. And you watch him get friends because he is very much a shy, socially anxious person. He doesn't have friends at first, but he slowly gains this great group of friends. And you just watch him experience life and high school. And I thought it was such a great depiction of high school. I wouldn't say I had the stereotypical high school experience, but this is how I would say high school did feel. It felt so nostalgic in such a realistic way, and I feel like that made me enjoy it and appreciate it that much more. At first, I was kind of unsure about the way it was told through letters. I didn't know if I loved that format, but as it went on, I actually grew to really, really love it and almost like preferred to read a book in this format than just a regular format. I feel like it kept me turning the pages. Every time a letter ended, I wanted to read the next one, and it was just such a fun way to read, and it was so different, which I feel like was really refreshing. Charlie is absolutely a wallflower, and I feel like I am too at times, and in a lot of ways I felt that I really could relate to Charlie, and anytime I can relate to a character in a book, I just feel like that makes me love it even more. He just felt very reminiscent of who I was in high school. The relationships in this book were so great. I loved Charlie's friends, Sam and Patrick. I also loved watching his relationship grow with some people in his family. For example, his sister. She was awful in the beginning, and then over time, she grew to be a character that I actually really appreciated, and I love that so much. I love to see the character development and growth. There were some really heavy topics in this book. I won't lie, it was a heavy read, it was a sad read, but it was also a really beautiful one. The way this book ended had me feeling really hopeful and like thankful for life, which is something I absolutely eat up whenever a book is like that. And there were just some scenes in here where I was like, wow, like kind of left me a little speechless, and I loved them. Essentially, this was just a big book about the ups and downs of growing up, and I thought that was so beautiful, and I immediately wanted to read it again as soon as I finished it, and I feel like I need to go watch the movie as soon as possible. I absolutely loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. So far, this challenge is off to just such a great start. I love not having to choose my books, and I love it when they end up being fantastic. And now we're gonna move on to my next read. The next read for this video is from my friend Allie, and she picked one that honestly didn't surprise me. It makes so much sense for her, but we have such similar reading tastes, I feel like I'm gonna have to love it. She chose You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow. This is gonna be my first book by this author, and I am so excited. So I'm gonna get to reading, and I'll see you soon. Okay, I have successfully finished the second book for this challenge, and oh my goodness, let me get into this one. So this is a book about a family. They're this super rich family. They should be picture perfect, but their son is a drug addict. He does hard drugs. In the beginning of the book, there is this car accident. He gets sent to rehab. This is not a spoiler, but a lot of this book focuses on the brother-sister relationship. So you're following Emery and Joey, and Emery just loves her brother, and she just wants him to be okay. She wants to help him get better after rehab, and she wants to be there for him. But she also wants to live like a normal life as a high schooler. She's like 16 years old. She just wants to be a normal teenager. And as you could imagine, like the strain of having to just worry and care about a sibling or a family member in that way that she does, while also just trying to grow up and learn to be a young adult, can be really difficult. But in this book, originally, I was kind of unsure. I was worried that it was going to be one of those YA books that felt just kind of too young. I feel sometimes I read YA books these days and I feel that I've outgrown the genre, and that's how I was feeling at first. So I was really nervous, but as it went on, I grew to really, really enjoy this book. I saw a review on Goodreads of somebody saying that Emery is incredibly selfish and that they just couldn't stand her character, but I honestly didn't agree with that. I thought Emery was so caring and so sweet towards Joey, and she just wanted to be helpful in any way she could. And I just kept like pondering that idea the entire book of how they would have gotten that. I genuinely really liked Emery, and I loved Joey. I loved him so much. I think he was my favorite character in the book, but the sibling relationship that they had, like their duo, was just so precious. I love to see like a sibling relationship really pictured in a book in such a beautiful way. I feel like the whole time they both were just so supportive of each other. They really loved each other. They're very close in age, so they grew up just like leaning on each other. And now Joey's going through it, and all Emery wants is to help him. And in the end, you see Joey just needed Emery there for him as well. There is a lot of high school drama in here. There's a lot of friendship drama. There's a lot of relationship stuff going on. But what I really loved about this book is the overall looming theme of opioid addictions in America. That was really heavily explored in this book, not only through Joey, but also through all the people who live in their city who are addicted to drugs. And a lot of it focused on how to help those people and how to get them better and how serious it is, because I feel that a lot of people overlook the way people are addicted to drugs. In the end, there's an author's note, and it says that more than 20 million people in the United States struggle with substance abuse each year. And that starts with people at age 12 all the way up to adulthood. And to me, that is such an insane number. And then it talks about how that doesn't even include the people who are just supporting the people with substance abuse problems, like the people who are there to care for them, the family members, the friends, the loved ones. Just there are so many people who are affected by this. And so I feel like this book was such an important thing to kind of make you realize and think about how serious it is. And I just really, really loved this book. I feel that it was really well written, really entertaining, but also just delivered a really good message. So I think I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. I was pleasantly surprised. And now we move on to our third book, which is so exciting. We're flying through this challenge. finished this book. It is the third one that I was supposed to read for this video. This was Lucy's pick, and I have kind of mixed feelings about it. I went into it really excited because it had the premise of being similar to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, in the sense that Addie LaRue lives one life, but she does live forever and people never remember her. Just like in this one, each time this girl is reincarnated, the people from her old life don't remember her, but she remembers them. Your main character is living an infinite number of lives, and she's kind of immortal, never dies. I did enjoy it a lot. I feel like it was a very fun book. I think the premise, again, was really exciting and different and unique, but I just feel like there were a lot of plot holes in here for so much of the book that it kind of got to a point where I stopped caring so much because I felt like it was getting so drawn out. And this is only a 340 page book, but it was like by probably page 200, I was like, please give me some answers, because I'm having fun reading about these different lives, but I'm also starting to get frustrated because I want to know what's going on. This other person that our main character loves comes and finds her, and one or the other kills each other. And they die together in every life. And you're kind of sitting here going, why do they have to kill each other in every life? They always have to die before they turn 18. And it's like, why? Do we hate this other person who keeps seeking her out and killing her? Do we like this person because she loves them? Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense until the very end. And then that comes to the plot twist. I don't know how I felt about the plot twist. Obviously no spoilers, I'm not gonna say a word. It's kind of hard to talk about this book without spoiling. But I just don't know that I loved the plot twist, and that was kind of disappointing because after reading so much of the book and you finally get to that plot twist in the last 50 so pages, it was just maybe not what I was hoping it would be, and I felt like kind of let down by it. But all that to say, I did still enjoy the book. I loved our main character. I loved the love part of the book, like that storyline. Watching them fall in love in multiple lifetimes was beautiful. I loved the family that our main character had in the majority of the book, because she was living the same life for the bulk of it. And just how caring our main character was. She was such an empath in every sense of the word. She just like really cared about people, and she was a really good person, and I loved that. I enjoyed the book, but not as much as I was thinking or hoping I would. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this one, I think, a 3-star, which is still a good rating. Like, it's still good. It's just not what I was hoping. I really wanted this to be like a 4.5, 5-star, but that is where we landed. But I'm excited for the next read because it's one that I've wanted to read for a long time. Let's go. Let's talk about The Naturals. So I have finished the 4th and final book for this challenge. The Naturals, the one that Hannah recommended, and I read it in a day, which is crazy for me. I never read a book in a day. So to be sitting here being like, yeah, already done, when I literally just filmed the fact that I was starting this yesterday, wild for me. But here are my thoughts. So this felt very classic Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have read The Inheritance Games, and this felt really similar to it in a few different ways. First of all, it was very digestible. The way that you were able to just fly through this book is very reminiscent of a lot of YA books, but I feel especially like Jennifer Lynn Barnes, her writing is just something that you can just zoom through without even trying. And I feel like I could go sit and read the rest of the series in the next few days if I wanted to. Let me give you a little bit of the synopsis of this book before I carry on. This is a Criminal Minds for teenagers, essentially. So you're following our main character, Cassie, who is recruited to the FBI for this special program they call the Naturals. And it's this group of, I think, 5 teenagers who all have these natural abilities to read people or profile people, or are really good at statistics or things like that, so they can easily figure out cold cases or active cases or whatever the case may be. So Cassie is brought to this house where the Naturals live, and she starts getting these lessons from these FBI agents and starts meeting all these teenagers that she's going to be getting really close with, and you kind of follow her through her journey getting brought into the FBI. We also learned that Cassie's mom was murdered 5 years prior, and they never found her killer. And so we're also spending time in this book trying to figure out who killed Cassie's mom. She and the other people in the Naturals have to crack this case, figure out what the heck is going on. I will say, maybe I'm just dumb, but I was not able to figure out who the person was, who our bad guy was, but I'm never good at guessing plot twists, so it kind of did catch me off guard. Another way that this felt very reminiscent of the Inheritance games was that there is the beginning of a love triangle in here. You have Dean, our bad boy, and Michael, who is just this mysterious kid, and they both instantly like Cassie and want to get to know her better, and it's turning into this love triangle, as I said, and part of me was like, that's kind of fun, but part of me was like, couldn't she have chosen something different? I know this was written before the Inheritance games, but to have both of them be the same thing, I was kind of like, boring, sorry. But overall, I really did enjoy this book, and I see myself going into the rest of the series really soon and finishing it, especially because I feel like if I don't do it now, I probably never will, because I'm really bad at following through a series, and I enjoyed this one a lot. If you're a fan of Criminal Minds, definitely give this one a read. It is super fun. As I said, a super quick read, and I enjoyed it a lot. I would probably rate it 4 stars. So that was that one. And with that review, that is it for this challenge. I read all 4 books that I was recommended by my friends. I did leave out 1 book only because I really didn't want to read it, so I'm sorry to the friend who recommended me a book and I didn't read it. Love you anyway. Not that it was a competition, but I definitely did enjoy The Perks of Being a Wallflower the most, but I would say overall my friends did a great job of picking books that I would like. I told them to pick anything and hopefully it was something that I would enjoy, and I truly did enjoy all of these books, which I feel like is such a massive success and I'm so excited about it. So I had so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. And I love that it took the stress off of me having to choose my TBR for a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to be friends, all my links are down below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me any ideas or feedback you have in the comments. I love connecting with everybody. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.